response to intervention could be simply described as building a system of supports for kids on your campus, or as making certain that every single student on your campus has access to whatever time and whatever support they need to be successful.
We have a system of schooling in America that for about 125 years was based on opportunity to learn. We had jobs for kids that didn't do so well in school, and some of those were pretty decent jobs, and most of those jobs don't exist in the United States of America anymore. The basic fundamental premise is that all students can learn at high levels, and that's what we're going to need as a nation if we're going to continue to prosper and lead.
Every journey doesn't start with a first step. It starts with pointing yourself in the right direction.
So if those are all the wrong questions, you know, the how do we raise test scores, how do we implement, how do we stay legal, how do we get better parents, what's the right first question? What do we want for our children? What do our kids need?
What is it the kids need to learn? How do we know if they're learning? And then how do we respond?
If you let a child get that far behind to qualify for traditional special ed, research tells us that by that point the kids are too far behind to get caught up. If the medical field worked the way most schools have traditionally worked, you wouldn't get help for an illness until you were terminal. Well, at that point, it's not help, it's hospice.
PRTI says, what do you need, child, and who on our staff is best trained to provide that?
The only way to really implement RTI in schools is through the professional learning communities model. There's a focus on learning, we develop a collaborative culture, and we use results to drive everything that we do in a PLC.
Before RTI, I would assist my struggling students all by myself with the time that I was allotted and just do the best I could with what I knew. Now I assist my struggling students with the help of my team. We share all of them. We really don't consider them just our own students.
We look at each other and we ask ourselves why we didn't do this before. And you reach a certain point where you don't go back. And it just becomes your culture, the way you do things.
A systematic intervention program then is built up of two parts: effective interventions and a systematic way to apply them.
When we talk about a systematic response, there are 5 major areas: identify, determine, monitor, revise, and extend.
We know the characteristics of what makes an effective intervention. The urgency, timely, directed, targeted. The bottom of the pyramid is fat. Why is it fat? That represents what all kids get in your school. That's your initial teaching. But no matter how well you teach it the first time, some kids won't get it. And so we got to be prepared. Our first level of interventions we call Tier 2, or supplemental help. Some kids walk into your school educationally hemorrhaging. They are so far behind, they don't need a little help, they need a lot of help. And that's Tier 3 of this pyramid shape. That is intensive help.
We have a system in place. It's not accidental, it's not reactive, it's proactive.
You can take things that are not working so well on your campus right now, make them ultimately more effective, and probably not cost your school any more money or any more resources. And instead, just do what we're doing now better.